just, teaching you guys this stuff for the sake of teaching you this stuff. We want you to actually follow the process with us. We want you to actually put yourself in the position to go on and have success. So let's talk about what you should know. Today, Saturday, today is what? This is what? This is March the 6th. From the 2 calls that you had so far with Kailashley, Mr. Chairman Kailashley, this is what you should know. And if you have not been taking notes these other 2 calls, then I'm sorry, you're not as serious as you think you are. So get serious tonight. But this is what you should know. You should know what the PS3 system is and how it is used to effectively prospect, because that's what we're talking about. That's the first P, the first skill that we're teaching you how to master, how to prospect. And the PS3 system, it stands for piquing interest, sharing the info, and three-way close or third-party validation. And this is critical information, because you would have seen Kai in the first call, he showed you, or more so he stressed the importance of how to create your list, how to contact your list, and how to pique the interest of your list, right? So you should know how to do that. On Wednesday, how many of you guys were on the Wednesday call where you did, you actually shared and invited them to the opportunity call? It was a practical session. How many of you guys enjoyed that session? Let me know. Let me know if you enjoyed that session with Ashley on Wednesday, because I feel like that was a really, really good call, the practical application of what we've been through so far. So I want to make sure that everybody's up to speed, because if you are not up to speed with us, that means that you're lagging behind. And I wanted to do this quick recap so that we can get up to speed. So again, you should know what the PS3 system is. And you should know that in order for you to effectively prospect, you use the PS3 system, all right? Say that again. In order for you to effectively prospect, you just master the PS3 system, all right? Piquing interest, that's what the P stands for. The S stands for sharing the information or showing the plan. And then the 3 stands for three-way close or third-party validation. So is everybody clear so far? Let me know if you're clear. Drop an AC in the chat, all right? Awesome. So you should have also remembered Kai hinting to some additional ways that you could share the info, because the call that you did on Wednesday, the training, you were inviting on to a webinar that Mario or a leader was going to do. But you could also share the information by having home meetings. All a home meeting is where you invite people to your house and you show them the information in your home. You meet them at your house and you show them the information. Then there's your weekly live events. Obviously, there are none of those things happening right now because of coronavirus. But at the end of the day, when these things change, you are now able to start back promoting. Yeah, that's my coronavirus voice, right? But these weekly live events, you can also share the information at the weekly live events. Then there's a napkin presentation. And we're going to show you all this stuff at a later date. But we just want you to understand the additional ways you can share information. All a napkin presentation is, it's kind of like an elevator pitch or an elevator presentation, where you are able to effectively communicate the information or the opportunity in a short space of time. And the reason why they say napkin, because you should be able to write it out on a napkin. And we're going to teach you how to do that as well. And then there's the company tools where you send the video, where you use the YouTube videos or the Vimeo videos. These are also ways that you can share the information. But what I want to teach you guys tonight, and to me, of the PS3 system, I feel like this part right here is one of the most important things, because if you do not master this, and then by extension, teach this to your teams, look at what's going to happen. Duplication of this system is not going to occur. And that's why I called it three-way, your call to freedom, because as you teach this to your team, all right, it's going to ensure that duplication happens. Because remember, Kai mentioned on Monday, it's not about what works, it's about what duplicates. So you may be having a system in your business right now that's working. People are coming on board, you're making money, but is it a system that can be duplicated? And this is what I want you to understand, guys. Follow me here on this. From a prospecting standpoint, all you have to understand is that once I can master the skill of, or more so master the system of the PS3, everything else will come over time. That's what we want you to focus on here now from a prospecting standpoint, because I know many of us sometimes we feel overwhelmed. by all the information, all the WhatsApp groups. We feel as though, there's so much information coming at us. And on this call, I'm going to target and show you what you need to be focusing on. That is the PS3 system. Write that down at the top of your book, man. Big and bold. If you're taking notes, write down, I must master the PS3 system. Because Kai showed you how to pique interest. He showed you how to share the opportunity. And tonight, I'm going to show you how to effectively do the three-way call. So you're going to three-way your call. You're going to three-way call yourself to financial freedom. So I want you guys to take a picture of this screenshot right here, right? Because this is very important that you understand this. The whole system of the PS3 is dependent on, especially the three-way close component, how well you are able to follow this pyramid here. To follow this pyramid here. Let me use the P word, right? You're at the top and the prospects and your upline or the expert is at the bottom, right? Critical stuff here. Because if you don't follow this pyramid effectively, I'm having fun on the call tonight, right? But if you don't follow this pyramid effectively, then what's going to happen is that you may pique individuals' interest, you may share the opportunity, but when it comes to the three-way close, which is the most important, I don't know if I had emphasized it at the beginning, but it's also three-way close or third-party validation. And the reason why this third-party validation thing is important is because you need someone outside of you to validate the information that we have. That's why we got the results group. That's why we encourage Kai to emphasize it on Monday, sharing the testimonies, because catch this, your testimony alone may not be enough to validate this information for someone. So look, let's go through it here really quickly, right? So look at it right here. See, I have here at the top, trust, edification, and respect. Now, this is critical information, guys. I cannot emphasize this enough. I want you to actually draw this out on your book, because this is how you're going to be able to effectively do the three-way call, right? But look at this first. The reason why I want to highlight the trust first is because, look what I have here. Your prospects love and trust you, but they do not respect your business opinion. You want to make sure you're clear on that. They don't respect your business opinion. They see you as a great friend. They see you as a great individual. No, they love you because you're a great musician or a great dancer or whatever you're a great employee, whatever you do. But from a business perspective, they don't trust you as an individual, or they don't more so respect you enough to give your perspective about business. So this is why, look at what I have here. You always want to point towards the expert or your upline, critical information. Some people, they get involved in the business and they don't want to point towards somebody else. This is what I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna talk about this at the end. As a leader, right? And when you want to hear me here, as a leader, you need to know when to be a sign and when to be a signpost. Let me say that again. Some of you will catch this next week. You need to know when to be a sign and when to be a signpost. And when you first get involved in the business, your goal is to be a signpost, to point towards something else or point towards somebody else, especially when you don't have the results. So watch this, all right? Look at what I have here. So point towards the expert or your upline. The role is to take it off of you. Some of us, we want it to be about us all the time. Listen, if you want to get to six figures, here's the key. It has to be about other people. With my leaders, I tell them this. Some of you may know this quote. Some of you will be hearing it for the first time. The man that controls the spotlight controls the show. So I, as a leader, know when to shine the spotlight on me. I know when to shine it on another leader. I know when to shine it on another chairman. We have got to get to that point where we understand that it's not all about us, especially when you first get involved in this business. Because you hear people saying, man, I want to wait until I make money in the business, until I share it with individuals. Guys, let me tell you this. Here's the key. Stop thinking about you so much. Stop thinking about what you want so much and look at all the evidence all around you. You don't have to wait until somebody else, or you don't have to wait until you make money to share the opportunity, because you've got all the evidence around you. We've got a results group intentionally created so you can show your prospects, look, people are making money, even though I have not made money as yet. And we're going to talk about that. right, in a bit. But you got to understand that it's not about you, right? So the role is to take it off you. Let me tell you what this does, right? This creates influence and respect with your upline and the prospect. That's right here. Critical stuff. This creates influence and respect. Because now, when I share this story, let's see, I did a three-way, and I can talk about this too as well. I did a three-way with Khadija from the UK. I had a guy that got started. He's from, not the UK, from Canada. And I said, you know what? I'm going to match this individual, the person that's going to do the three-way call for me, with the similar criteria of the person that I'm trying to get signed up. Why? Because there's going to be commonality, there's going to be familiarity. And what that's going to do is that it's going to build trust. And obviously, I will say that she's been making money from trading. She's a phenomenal leader. She's one of the leaders out in Canada. I'm going to edify this person. And what that does is that it creates respect and influence. Now, I want to stop here for a bit, because this is where many people fall down. Some people have difficulty with edification. When you guys hear the word edification, what does that sound like to you? Or when you hear the word edify, what does that mean for you? Edify your upline, or the edification process is important. What does that mean? All right. I see, what did it say? Let me see what the chat is saying. Affirm their achievements and character, big them up, introduce, big them up, say something good, say good things. Absolutely, all of you guys are correct. But here's the key now, right? You want a place of sincerity, right? You want to do it from a place of being honest, right? You're not going to see that this person has made $1 million when you know they haven't, right? You're not going to lie. You're going to communicate the best aspects of them that you know to the prospect, so they have a reason to want to listen. Because remember, we're trying to build trust and influence. We're trying to build respect and influence, trust as well, right? So if you don't effectively edify your upline, then the person is going to say, well, why do I need to talk to that individual? Why do I need to hear from that person? I want to hear from you, right? I want to hear from your results. I want to hear if it's working for you. We can talk about that when we get into the objections and stuff like that, the different types of objections. Because the reality is that until you are able to do this pyramid effectively, this is where a lot of people lose in this business. They don't have the heart to effectively edify. And it doesn't always have to be your upline. Catch this. Khadija, who's a leader out in Canada, she's not my upline. She's not even my cross line. She's in my down line. She's in my group. But I understand that because she has a similar qualification, a similar lifestyle, a similar location, she has the same type of interest like this person that was trying to get into the business. So I use them for the three-way. How many of you have ever used did a three-way call with someone that was not your upline? Did a sideline, put something in the chat there, let me see. Anybody did it from a sideline? Awesome, because here's the principle I want you guys to understand, the mentality. You don't have to always do a three-way call with your upline. That's recommended because you want to put your upline to work. But what you also want to do is that you want to match the prospect with a person that has the results that they want or is doing what they're doing. So, for example, Maya may be a doctor. I may be doing I may have a prospect with a girl that's in med school. And my sister-in-law, she's a doctor and she has been able to effectively trade and make money in this business. So instead of me trying to get Chad Thompson or David Emoniti, I message Maya or I call Maya and say, look, man, I got somebody that's just like you or just like how you were, because obviously that person isn't a business as yet, but you want to be able to connect the dots and link that individual to someone that has a similar story, someone that they can relate to, right? Very important that you understand that, because the truth is that if you are not aware of, I love what Danish just said, because that's exactly what was going to go into there, right? If you are not aware of the individuals in your group, and like she said, the stories or the types of individuals. For example, how Stefan was able to walk away from his job. He hated his job. Fabian, he's about to walk away from his job as well and do this thing full time. Gavin is a full-time dad. Kirk is a full-time dad. If you don't know these stories, then you're going to limit yourself all the time. You're not going to be able to do this pyramid effectively, right? I hope nobody's offended on the call when I say the word pyramid, because you're in the business. So you shouldn't be offended by the pyramid, right? But I saw something that Fabian said here. I thought that was really good too. Just reading the chat. I think that's a really good comment. Kai highlighted it. You got to respect your upline. You got to honor your upline. And here's the thing: you don't even have to. Listen. Here's my perspective, right? And I'm taking this approach now. You don't even have to. You don't have to like your upline. You don't have to. Love them for who they are, and you don't have to like. These little things about them. You just need to understand. Hey, look, this person has results. And I can leverage them and their story right now to get what it is that I want accomplished from this three-way. Don't make it too technical. If you don't like the person, no problem. If you love the person, great. If you don't love them, whatever. Just understand that you want to match and you want to be able to get the process done effectively so that you can get results. Then I have here the expert will re-edify you after you introduce them or at the end of the call. And when we go through the practical application of this, whether we do it on Monday or next week, Wednesday, there are points that we're going to hit home and emphasize so that we all can win and grow together. So I see a lot of comments coming in the chat. So let me see what people are saying. So it's a business, absolutely. Upline got your best interests at heart, none less. Absolutely. That's a great point too as well, because sometimes we think that it's, when the upline, this is a whole other topic, but it's important because the mentality of this whole three-way and the trust that comes and the edification that comes, the respect that comes, if that is not sincere, if it is not real, then you're going to create this fake environment in your group that's going to eventually come back and bite you. You know what I mean? So let's really just try to be real, And I feel like that will help all of us in the big picture. So good. So let's talk about what the process is like before the three-way. So let's drop in the chat if you're clear so far on all that we've been through as it relates to the pyramid structure here, because the pyramid is critical. The pyramid is the strongest shape, they say, and this is you. This is your upline or the expert or the sideline, and this is the prospect. You build the trust. Well, they trust you for who you are, but they don't trust your business opinion. So you've got to edify the expert or your upline, and by doing that, you build respect and influence. Remember that. And we're going to go through this either on Monday or Wednesday practically, so you can actually put this into work, right? So good. So let's talk about what the process is like before the three-way. So this is what you want to do. Before you actually get Jane on the line with your upline chairman or your upline platinum leader or your sideline chairman or sideline chairman leader or your downline, let me just meet that individual. Awesome, right? Before you can actually get them there on the call, this is important. You need to call your upline and confirm the availability that they can actually do the call. Don't just randomly assume that your upline doesn't have a life and they're available for every call that you want them to be on. Don't just randomly have a three-way call on WhatsApp. Like for me personally, when I see these calls coming through for WhatsApp, if I don't have your number saved, one, I don't answer. And then two, if I know it's a three-way that you didn't notify me for, because I see two people calling me at once, I purposely don't answer as well. Why? Because there's a lesson that needs to be learned in that moment. I have a life that's going on as well. And it's disrespectful to think that I can always answer your call or always be available. So you got to make sure that I'm available by confirming the availability or schedule it, like Danny said. Fabian just did an incredible calendar training. So you want to make sure that you're scheduling. Shout outs to Romario as well. Romario does a really good job at scheduling three-ways. And we do it back to back to back to back to back because he sets a system in place and a structure which makes it easier for him to knock off a lot of people. He's not just prospecting randomly. And we're going to talk about that coming on to the end as well. So good. So after you confirm the availability, so I called Kai and I said, Kai, yo, I'm about to do a three-way with this young lady, right? You available at 7 o'clock, or I need you for a three-way at 7 o'clock. Listen, I need to give Kai information about the prospect, right? And it could be just the name, and you know what the individual does. Sometimes individuals try to go in depth and say everything about the individual. I don't need all that information. Kai doesn't need all that information. We just need the basics. Basically, what their name is, so that we can be respectful. And they always, call their name when they actually come on the call. And so, whatever information we have, we can also use that in the three ways. Everybody's clear on that? Make sure that you give the upline information about the prospect. If you're clear, give me an AC in the chat. Look at number 3 now. You want to let the prospect know that after they see the information, you are going to introduce them to your mentor. Of course, we got to be going back here, but this should be in red. Edify your mentor who will answer all their questions. Now, some people have difficulty here making that connection, right? Some people, what they do is that after the video is after they see the opportunity, they just set up the freeway without notifying the prospect. Some people, they just try to, like if it's a live event, they just drag the person over to the upline. I've seen that happen many times. I see people, coming over to me, and they can tell the person is not even aware of why they're coming over to me. What you want to do is notify the prospect. Let them know that after they see the information, you are going to introduce them to your mentor of who you will edify, why they need to listen. Now, here's the thing, right? You don't want your prospect to not know that you are going to create this thing right here. And you ought to create this little interaction between you and upline. And you also don't want to ask them if they want to speak to your upline. Critical point here, guys. Don't ask if it is okay, or don't ask if they want to. Let them know, just how you tell them to watch the video. Let them know that after you watch this video, this is what is going to happen after. I'm going to set up a three-way call with my mentor who knows 100% of the information, has made multiple 6 figures in this thing, and is 100% qualified to answer all the questions that you have. Everybody's clear on that? Don't try to start answering questions and try to control the thing. Remember I said at the beginning, we've got to know when to be a sign and when to be a signpost. And this whole concept of doing the three-way, you have got to be the signpost always. You don't need to be the sign right now. You got to be pointing in direction, giving instruction as opposed to what needs to be done and what your prospect should be doing to get success, or for you to get success in this process. So let's go to the next slide. So I just showed you what is happening before the three-way. Well, let's talk about during the three-way now. So you introduce your mentor to the prospect. So practical example, I introduce, let's just say my prospect is Mario. And I say, all right, Mario, this is Kai, who I told you about earlier. And Kai, this is Mario, who I would have told you about earlier, right? And obviously you edify them. And I'm not going to go into too much detail there on how you edify the prospect, because it's not the prospect, the chairman or the upline, because you should have been doing that from inception. Let me just mute this individual that came on. You should be edifying your upline from inception. Now, what you want to do though, right, is when you share the information about your about the prospect, you want to do that so that your upline can edify not just you, but the prospect as well. How many guys are following so far? Right? If you're following, put an AC in the chat. I have to explain that a little clearer. Okay, once you're following, but I'm gonna explain it a little clearer though, right? You say you have to introduce the mentor to the prospect and edify both the mentor and the prospect. So what you're going to do is edify the mentor. You're going to say good things about them, but you're also going to say good things about the prospect in front of the mentor, so that the mentor, if you didn't tell them before, can say it back to the prospect and build that trust and that rapport continuously. So if you know that Maya is a hard worker or Mario is a hard worker and they're the type of individual that has the potential to do well in this business, you want to tell that to your upline so they can come on the call and say the exact same thing, re-edify them, right? So good. So then here's number 2. Shut up. That's in red. Don't interrupt, correct, or have background noise. Mute your line after the introduction. I had an interesting experience before. Oh man, I'm doing the freeway. Person shut up, but their audio wasn't turned off. So they didn't mute their microphone at all. I'm hearing their conversation. The person was actually buying food. This is in the previous opportunity, but I remember it. The person was talking about purchasing food. And I'm like, bro, mute your microphone, mute your microphone. And he can't hear me, right? He can't hear me. So I'm even thinking about, okay, so how can I kick him off the call? Because all they hearing is like, is he was in the mall, he was in Sheraton. All they hearing is all the noise and all that type of stuff. And he's saying, yeah, he want this and he want macaroni pie and all that. And I'm like, bro, just mute your mic. So very important, because that can become a distraction, right? So how many of you guys are clear on that? How many of you are clear on shutting up? Right. Don't interrupt. Don't correct. And have all your background noise off. Mute it. Don't correct the man or the woman if she gave the wrong information. Don't jump in and take back all the edification. You said that that person has 100% of the information, right? So even if they make a mistake, they call the price wrong. And I'm gonna tell you this, you're going to make tons of mistakes on this journey. You're gonna say so much garbage. All the leaders, we have fun and make fun of each other in our core group, because we just talk nonsense sometimes. We just say the wrong thing, and just talk garbage, right? And we will laugh at each other in the group, but nobody's gonna come on the call and say, oh yeah, Kai, you say the price wrong, or you say the harmonic scanner is gold cup or whatever. If he makes a mistake, let it flow, because guess what? The prospect doesn't know that he's making a mistake, right? So don't try to come in. Like I saw something there about the monthly. I feel like I always say the monthly wrong, especially with the elite pack, right? I don't remember exactly. So I say the monthly for the FRX, the platinum pack, and I get mixed up with the elite pack. So yeah, don't worry. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You will correct that outside of the three-way, right? Mario said it's de-edification. Absolutely. You take back the power from the person that's edifying, that you edified and said has 100% of the information. So you guys following so far? Because again, you master prospecting by mastering the PS3 system. That foundational component of prospecting, which is the PS3 system, once you master that, then you build upon the other components of the skill over time. This is what we want you to capture here. You master the PS3 system, everything else will come as time progresses. So look at this here. So the expert / upline always asks what they like about the information and agree with whatever they say. Never ask what they think or what they thought. That should be what they thought, right? Say that again. The expert / upline always asks what did they like. So when the person comes on the call and the introduction occurs, and then you're about now to start the process of actually closing this individual, etc., you need to make sure that you ask this question. Hey, Maya, hey, Mario, you had a chance to see the information, right? Because if you didn't see the information, then I can't do the three-way. And I think I mentioned that in the previous slide. You gotta make sure that did I mention that? Did I mention that? Did I mention that? I didn't mention that. So let me highlight that really quickly. You can't set up the three-way if the person hasn't seen the information. Critical point. That slipped me, and I just came out here. So let me make sure that maybe if I can edit this on here, I will put that in. But for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. Don't set up the three-way until the person has seen the information. Like they know what I Am Mastery Academy is, how how much it is to get started. They've seen a full presentation. Because if not, it's going to make the opportunity to close them a lot more difficult. How many of you guys ever did a three-way and the person didn't even know what you were talking about? Ever happened to anybody? Person called you, I got three for the person, you're like, yeah, all right. You had a chance to see the information, right? What do you like about what you saw? And the person says, what information are you talking about? What video? You know what I mean? So if you ever get that situation in your three-way process, don't continue or don't try to explain and go through in detail what I Am Mastery Academy is and all that. Let them watch the video and set up another time, bam, fam, and we can talk about that at the end. Set up another time for you to be able to do the three-way close. Don't try to close them without exposing them or making sure that they're exposed, right? So I hope everybody's clear on that. So like I said, you always want to ask, what did you like about what you saw? So we're going to go through this practically, like I said, in detail on Monday or Wednesday, whenever I kind of myself decide to do it. But this is what I want you to understand. The mentality is that you're not giving the prospect the chance to tell you what they think about the opportunity. You don't care what they think about the opportunity. All you want to hear is what they like about the platform, what stood out to them. This is what I always say. So let's just say I do this review with Mario. Mario is the prospect, sorry. And I come on the call and say, so all right, Mario, so you had a chance to see the information. What did you like about what you saw? What stood out to you? That's a closed-end question. So Mario has to tell me what he likes. Now, sometimes people will jump out of the closed end and try to go direct to, pyramid scheme and all that stuff. And we're going to talk about that in a bit. But what you want to do is try to remain in control of the conversation. How many of you guys are understanding that? And you remain in control of the conversation by doing what? Asking what they like about what they saw, right? So after you collect that information, though, so the person says, man, I like that you can make money from your cell phone. I like that I can learn the skill that no one can take from me. Whatever they say, this is very important. Agree with them because you like it too. If you didn't like it too, you would not be in the platform. If they say that they like the money, guess what? You like that too because you wanted to make the money. You liked how they said that they like how they could use your cell phone to make money or to. I love that too. That's what you want. You want to agree with them. You want to show. The purpose of agreeing is to build rapport, to build trust. Don't take it negatively and say, well, I didn't like that though, but I understand why you would like that. Don't mention that. Stay positive and remind them of, not remind them. Stay positive and stay in control of the conversation. That's what I wanted to say. So good. So number 4 now. So watch this now. After they told me what they like, right? I like that too. This is what I do. I find out if anything wasn't clear. And the reason why I do this is because I want to bring clarity and get them to a place of peace and confidence before trying to get them to make a decision. Because if I don't ask them if there's anything they aren't clear on or any stuff that they want me to explain for them, because what I normally say is, okay, I love that too. You can make money. I love that too, man. When I got involved, I saw this platform. I couldn't believe the amount of money that people were making. So then, bam, the next step here now. So I said, okay, so was there anything you saw in the information that you weren't clear on and you want for me to explain to you? Anything? You know what I mean? Anything that you saw that you weren't clear on? And when the person then goes on to tell me, okay, well, I don't understand how the harmonic scanner works or what the price is, or it sounds like a pyramid scheme. This is where this part here is important because all the questions that individuals have, I want you to write this down and follow this, because if you understand this part, you will overcome any objection. Now, we're not going to go in depth and walk you through how to overcome the objection tonight. That's going to happen on Monday or Wednesday. But what I'm going to do here is show you the four categories that questions either come in or objections either come in. So look at what I have here. When answering questions, you may encounter some objections or concerns before you are able to close and collect the decision. They always fit into 4 categories. So here's the first one. The first category is a trust category. I don't trust these things. I'm skeptical. How many of you guys ever got the question about a pyramid scheme? Anybody ever got that? If you have not gotten the pyramid scheme or a question or objection, you are not talking to enough people, because that's a common one that you will get a lot, because a lot of people don't know what a pyramid scheme is, and the pyramid structure, it kind of makes them feel uncomfortable, right? So we're going to show you next week, Monday or Wednesday, whenever we decide, how to actually practically overcome these objections. But I want you to get the principle here right now, right? That's a trust issue, right? They're skeptical about something. They're skeptical about network marketing. They're skeptical about trading because they never heard about it and it sounds too good to be true. They're skeptical. And the mentality that you need to have, write this down. This is the principle here. Some have been burnt. That's a great one. Some people have done these opportunities before and they're still holding on to the pain from years ago. And you got to be able to understand that. So here's the mentality. The purpose of you answering these questions, yes, is to bring clarity, but it's also to empower them, to build confidence in that they're making the best in getting started, or they're making a good decision. Let me word it that way, right? You're answering these questions not to slap them around the head and, because some people get upset, excuse me, when people talk about pyramid scheme. And we're going to go through that. Let me actually do the practical application of this thing. Some people begin to attack individuals. Listen, don't do that, because you will begin to lose individuals when you begin to attack, because all it is that person just doesn't have the trust right now. So your mentality should be, how do I create trust? How do I create an environment that empowers them to want to be a part of this opportunity? Please remember that, because what happens is that sometimes we scare people away because we're too aggressive, because we're tired of hearing pyramid scheme or the pyramid man. You guys know my story. People call me the pyramid man. Oh my goodness. Every time I share that, I just go laugh. People call me the pyramid man. Some of you may not know that, because they said I always do these pyramid scheme things. And I just laugh because, there was a period of my life where I was attacking individuals because I could not understand why I was seeing something that they weren't seeing. And they would be attacking me. And I said, you know what? I got to attack back. But take my advice. That was the wrong thing to do. That's the wrong thing to do. Don't attack them. Educate them. Educate them. And there's some people that after you highlight, I've seen this in my life personally, after you highlight to them and show them that the information they have is incorrect, let me tell you what happens now. Some people may be so egotistical that they don't even continue the conversation. They're like, okay, because you show them that they don't know what they're talking about. But the key is to educate them. Even if they don't continue down. How many of you guys are following so far? Don't get into this back and forth. You got to educate and move on. You guys are clear? So those skeptical questions, they always come, they always link to a trust component. Catch this one though. The second objection or question usually comes from clarity on the quality of service that we provide. Very important. When people ask you about the products, how do they work? Do they really work? I heard you guys talking about this harmonic scanner thing, or I saw it in the video, but how does that really work? Are people really making money from that? They want clarity on the quality of the service that we provide, if it really works or not, the products and, how you can use them to make money, right? So what you want to do, I love what Kai just said in the chat, what you always want to do as well, when it comes to these things, and I'm gonna get to that at the end though, but I'm gonna hit to it here now. You want to point towards the stories of other people that are using these products and services. It has been working for all these other individuals, and guess what? I believe it can work for you. I used that today. I borrowed my boy Alex's Zoom link because the team had the Zoom link, and I did a 2-on-1, right? A lady from St. Lucia and my boy from Jamaica, and my boy from Jamaica, not my boy, the girl, the lady from St. Lucia, she was a little skeptical. She tried to trade in 2 other opportunities, and she lost her money, and she was in an educational platform. She was in, somebody took the money from her and went and traded on her behalf. So she asked questions about if the products really work, and if it's something that, she can use and it really worked for her, and those type of questions. And I said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to point towards the results group and share all the additional stories, build belief. Because remember, Kai said it on Monday, facts tell, but stories sell. I always talk about Kai's brother from the harmonic scanner. This is years. I've been saying this one story for years. Made $1,500 in one day. That story is probably the only story I share from the harmonic scanner. All right. So here's the next thing now. The price. How many of you guys ever got a rebuttal on the price? Anybody ever told you, man, this thing is too expensive? Why it costs so much money? Somebody ever asked you that? Why it costs so much money? You guys get that? So why it gonna cost so much money? We're going to show you how to overcome those objections. That's why you got to be on the Wednesday call or the Monday call. That's why you got to go through this entire boot camp with us, because we're going to show you how to overcome those objections. People say, you know what, man, y'all academy is too expensive. I'm going to try to learn on YouTube. That's how I recruited Romario. You guys know Romario? Romario is on his way to breaking P1000 in this business. How many of you guys know Romario Wilkinson, man? Drop some sevens in the chat for Romario if you know him. He's one of our leading educators, always serving, always, plugging in. He was one of the individuals that wanted to learn on YouTube. Can you believe that? Can you believe that he was really trying to learn on YouTube, where there are millions of experts all across the world? He didn't have a clearly defined step-by-step process. He was trying to learn on YouTube. And how much money, if Romario's on the call, Romario, how much money you was making, bro? You was making any money from YouTube? I don't think Romario's making any money at all, right? From trying to learn on YouTube. He's making nothing. Nothing. When you said that in the chat, that's all I'm hearing that meme, bro. Right? He wasn't making anything at all. So he realized, hey, look, the price is a myth. Because he says it all the time. And I showed him the value. And I mean, like, the company has improved by leaps and bounds since Romario got involved. So you want to be able to overcome that objection, right? Then there's the availability now. So this is where people talk about the time. I don't have the time. I'm so busy. That's what my boy from Jamaica was saying, because he's in insurance. And I believe that if he catches this thing, he'll come in and do well, because he already has that mentality. But he doesn't have a lot of time. How many of you guys ever got an objection like that? Okay, man, so I see this thing working for you guys, but my life is so busy. People always glorifying busy. They got so much going on. They go to work and they gotta deal with the kids, and then I gotta watch TV, and I gotta eat my breakfast and my lunch and my dinner. I'm so busy. How do you overcome that objection? What do you do to allow the individual to see, hey, look, all of us were busy, but the company is structured in such a way. This is what I told Giovanni today on the freeway. Hey, look, bro, the company is structured in such a way that it doesn't matter if you have a little bit of time or a lot of time. You could trade in the morning time or the night time. You could trade during the day. It's not going to take up a lot of your time based on the products and services that we have. And I showed him the products and services and how they work in terms of meeting his schedule and his criteria for what he wants in this business. Right? So that's clear so far, guys. I want to and the four main categories that these objections and questions come in. Right? So you want to think like this, because whenever a question or objection comes, you want to be able to scan your brain and say, okay, so is this a trust question? This person sounds skeptical. They don't seem like they trust the opportunity. Or they're asking about the products. Is this a clarity question? Or they're asking about the price? They think it's too expensive. They don't have the money. It's like, okay, well, it's so expensive, man. And I don't know if I'm going to raise the money. Or I can raise the money. We'll talk about that in the objection time next week, how handling the objections in detail. Because if you are not able to overcome these objections, this is when you're doing the three-way, obviously, or when you're prospecting, obviously. You want to be able to get to a point where you are able to collect the decision. And that's what this part here is about now. Closing. Again, we're still in the three-way. This is still a journey three-way, right? So after the questions are answered, so you answered all the objections, handled all the rebuttals, and overcame all of them. The goal is to create urgency and collect the decision. Watch this now, right? I never said the goal is to create urgency and get them signed up, because if that was the goal, please follow me here. If that was the goal, everybody that got exposed, when we created urgency, they would get signed up. The goal is not to get this person signed up. The goal is to collect a decision from them, because how many of you guys can agree there's some people that are better off not in this opportunity? This is an interesting question. I'd love to hear from you guys here. Do you guys agree with that statement, that there's some people that it's best if they don't spend their money to join this opportunity? Yeah, some people really and truly should not get involved in I Am Master Academy because they don't have the mentality, they don't have the work ethic, they don't have the right perspective about this thing. And that's what you want to collect the decision to see if they're qualified. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that, I think, in the next slide, right? So you want to collect a decision and move on to the next exposure and prospect. Very, very important. I'm reading this again. After all the questions are answered and objections are handled and overcome, the goal is to create urgency and collect the decision and move on to the next exposure and prospect. So after I collect the decision, I ain't sticking up with them, and I can show you how to not stick up, right? But I'm thinking about my next freeway. I'm thinking about my next exposure. Remember, we're always thinking about the next. I see people saying stuff in the chat, so let me peep here real quick and see what people are saying. So, okay, impatient, stressful. Say that again. Sometimes I have to trust my intuition. That's a really, really, really good point. I remember I was in Atlanta. Quick personal story here. I was in Atlanta. Chad had a boot camp, and there was this guy that wanted to sign the boot camp. The man kept calling me and stuff like that. His name is Akeem too. I can't believe his name is Akeem as well. But he was calling me. I'm like, bro, give me a second. You know, I hearing a boot camp with my upline chairman, dude pestering me and telling me, you know, he don't think I'm serious and stuff like that. I was the chairman of this business, you know. I tell myself, I can't know this man pressure you into answering him and stuff like that. And catch this silly mistake I made. I ran outside talking to the girl on the phone, and in my intuition, my spirit was telling me, Akeem, do not sign up this dude. Do not sign up this dude. You know why? Because the vibe that he's giving you, I love what Danny said there. It's best if he didn't join the company. He joined the company, but then he canceled. He had a wrong impression of how this whole thing would work. But maybe he should join with somebody else, because the spirit that he had and the vibe that he was bringing, it wasn't going to work out at all. And that's why, I bring that example for Shikara's point, you're going to trust your gut. Sometimes it's best, if it doesn't feel right with this individual, don't force it. Don't force it. So stuck in their ways, some people always walking around. I'm a relief when I see them with someone, probably they'll be more successful with that connection. Absolutely. Right? Some people love to test the knowledge, authority, and character. Yeah. I mean, like, I didn't feel like he was testing me. It was just like he just had the wrong spirit, man. So good. So the energy doesn't lie. Absolutely. Vibers don't lie, Daniel. Like telling you, me and my wife always kicks about that. When people try to tell you the vibers don't lie, sometimes the vibers be wrong. In my experience, the vibe is never wrong. Ever. Oh my goodness. Passionate about that, because the vibe, the spirit is don't lie. So anyhow, so look at what I have here. So listen to the script. I just said I would give you guys these two scripts here just so that you can see. Right? I don't want to touch me, guys. I don't want to touch me. I'm telling you, right? At different levels, there are different things that really, and this is what I mean by different levels. Like as your group begins to grow, there are different obstacles that you overcome. And there's some obstacles that I had to overcome that really, you know what I mean, created and what is it I'm trying to say? They've really built me in a manner to where I am today, you know, to help me get where I am today, if I can word it like that. So that's a big point for me. The vibe don't lie at all. So anyhow, this is the script here. So now that everything is clear, you see what Kelly Currency just said? Not to get distracted here, but you see what she just said? This is where emotional intelligence comes in and discernment. Ask anybody that's in the core group. We were talking about that either this morning or yesterday. We were talking in the chat, and they said, listen, the reason why I love this industry, because the level of emotional intelligence that it creates in you, you become a high caliber individual. You are literally able to discern and be able to it's really discernment. You know, I'm trying to make this thing more technical than it needs to be. But that emotional intelligence and being able to read people, and you build upon that over the years, I'm telling you, that is a skill. That is what is needed. So anyhow, let's get back here. But Kelly Currency, that comment, that's a high comment. That's a certain level of awareness there that everyone needs to have. So anyhow, now that everything is clear, let's get you started on a path to success with us. So that's what I see. That's what I see to collect the decision, right? So we answered all the objections. Normally, let me word it like this. I ask that question twice. Now that everything is clear, I say, sorry, this is what I'm trying to say. When I find out if you have any questions, and you tell me, and I answer them, I then say, know that everything is clear. I answer all of your questions, right? Let's get you started on a path to success with us. I don't ask you when you want to get started. I don't ask you if you can start. I assume the virtue. Listen to that term there. Right, learn this from Bob Proctor. I assume the virtue. I assume that this person is about to get started because I'm thinking my affirmation says that new and successful people are joining my business every single day. So I don't think about if this person has the money or not. I may feel it in my gut based on the objections and the way the conversation goes, if they're dodging certain questions, etc. But I always assume that they want to get started. Why? Because I need to be moving in alignment with my affirmation. So I said, know that everything is clear. Let's get you started on a path to success with us. Here's another one. Oops, my laptop one day. All right. Everybody following so far though, in terms of how you go about collecting decision, how you close this individual? Everybody's clear so far? Let me know. Let me know if you're clear, if you're clear, if you're clear. Okay, good. So know that everything is clear. Let's get you started on a path to success with us. That's one script. There's another one here on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being ready to start and 1 being not interested at all. Where are you on that scale, right? And the purpose of these, the way that these scripts are worded is because you want to get the person to a point where, hey, look, I need to give me a decision here. It's either you want to get started or you don't. It's either you are, a 5 or a 6 or a 7 or 8, whatever number you are, I'm trying to collect a decision here from you. So look at what I have here at the bottom. See, it's in red. Always bam fam, regardless of your decision. Now, what does bam fam mean? So whether the person tells me that they are ready to get started or not, whether the person tells me that they have the money or not, whether the person tells me that they're a 5, and if they say the 5, normally we say, so what do I need to do to get you to a 10? Whatever they say there, you want to book the meeting from the meeting. This is important now, because if you don't do that, let me show you what happens, right? After the freeway now, because that's what we did. We just exposed the individual and we collected the decision. The upline leaves the call and you reconfirm the time and date to follow up. So we collected the decision. The person says, all right, I don't have the money. We're going to go through this in detail. The purpose of this slide is just to get you understanding the principle behind closing. We're going to teach you how to do this in a practical sense on Monday or Wednesday, but this is the mentality I want you to get. Closing means that you are looking for, you're creating urgency and you're looking to collect a decision, because not everyone's going to get started with this platform. So you want to know if yes, they're in or no, they're out, right? And once you're clear on that and you get the decision, you book a meeting now. So let's just say the person says, I don't have the money right now. What do you do? Someone on the line, want to drink some water. If the person says that they don't have the money right now, what do you say? I don't have the money right now. I follow up. How soon do you think you can refund? That's the right question to ask. Because yeah, you're going to follow up, but you want to follow up with a question that is clear, right? That's giving you clarity. Let me see what the other guys are saying in the chat. When do you think you'll be able to get the money? How soon can you get started? When can you see yourself having the funds to get started? Absolutely. All of them are correct. The reason why you're asking this question, you are not just following up, you're asking the question in a particular way because you want to know if this person is serious or not. Right? And we're gonna have some fun, maybe actually the practical application, because one of the tips that I do is if the person says that they don't have the money and they're giving me a logo and running the conversation, this is what I say. All right, well, I'm gonna follow up with you in about 6 months to a year. Right? Let me know if that's a good time for you. So I'm gonna follow up with you in 2022, March the 6th. And if the person says, okay, that's cool, bruh, gone. I'm gonna put it in my calendar, right? I'm gonna put it in my calendar. But the reality is that that's a clue. And we're going to have some fun with this when we go through the actual practical application, because Kai and myself, we're gonna create some interesting scenarios so that you can see how to flex and be, malleable to be able to answer, overcome all of these objections. And sometimes there are people that waste your time. So you got to be able to see and identify when the person is wasting your time. So you want to date and time to follow up. I see guys saying flex on them. We can talk about that when we talk about the fortunes and the follow up, right? So reconfirm the date and time to follow up with prospect to get them started if they're qualified. This part should be in red. The reason why this is important is because not everyone is qualified. So let me ask this question. When you guys hear if qualified, what does that mean for you? Look at what I said. Upline leaves call and you reconfirm the date. So the upline left. You heard on the call that the upline collected the decision that they want to get started a week from now or next month. So you heard that. What you want to do now is reconfirm the date and time to follow up. The same time they said on the call, they agreed with the upline to get them started if they qualify. When you hear that, what does that mean for you? Any person can reply to that. If they qualify. Person has the right mindset, attitude towards the opportunity. If they want to get started, that's it, Najiri. It's so simple, because a qualification for from a prospecting standpoint, yes, is if they have the right mindset, etc. But remember, you want to get people in the business as well. So if they collect the decision, you collect the decision, and they say yes, then that person, bam, is ready to get started. If they say no, then they didn't qualify in terms of meeting the requirements to get started. All right, so good. So number 2, make sure it is recorded in the calendar and repeat the PS3 system. Make sure that you record this. And this is important as well. It's not your upline's responsibility to follow up. I'm gonna tell you this. When I do a 3-way, 30 minutes after, I probably don't forget that person's name and date and all that type of stuff. The information I'm collecting is for you. I'm not collecting that information for me. Why? Because I got my own prospects in my calendar that I got to follow up with. I'm not writing down Danny's prospect. Why would I do that? Right? Danny's and all the other leaders, they're not writing down your prospects. It's your personal responsibility to learn, to use what Fabian just taught us, to be able to use our calendar to schedule our life and be able to follow up. Because look at what it says here. All right? The fortune is in the follow-up. And Kai was saying flex on him. And what he was saying is that when you go out there and make a fortune, some people will follow up with you. Now, that doesn't really happen, really speaking from my personal experience. Because when you go out there and make money, people just catch feelings. Let's be honest on this line. You know what I mean? People don't want, Akeem, this is what you want to say here, right? People don't want to make you rich, fam. People don't want to contribute to your success. So they know that you making money, you banking, they know this thing real. So you know what they can do? They can try to learn another way. You know what I mean? They can come and dance around you, and because and we can talk about that on when we actually go in depth, because there's this principle where if the individual is asking this whole sort of crazy questions, so how much money you've made and, how is it working for you? And I need to see it work for you first. That is, those comments are insight into the person's belief, not the belief, but the person's perspective about you, right? And we're going to talk about that at the end. We're going to talk about that not at the end, in the practical component where objections come and comments that people make. If the person gonna say, "Mama, you know what? I need to see you make money first. I gotta see if it worked for you." That's not what they really want to see, Tell you. We can talk about that. I'm excited about that as well, because that will bring a lot of clarity for a lot of people. Sometimes we're sticking up on a lot of people that we need to be moving off of. There's some people that we want to join this business, when in truth and in fact, they shouldn't join this business with us. Telling you, this is my personal experience. There's some people, close friends, when they first got involved in the industry, they said, "Bro, let me see it work for you, man. Man made beer fun at me. Oh snap, Akeem done got rich. Everybody catching feelings now. Nobody, no people moving funny when they come out. When I see them in person, people can't look me in the eye now. People talk about me behind my back. You guys will experience that as well. And you got to know how to navigate that. Because if you don't know how to navigate that, then it will be tough. I'm telling you. So yeah, so the fortune is in the follow-up, guys. You want to make sure that you are intentional. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. So good. So I want to highlight this book right here. How many of you guys have read this book? As you guys can see throughout the entire presentation, I had like, screenshots and snapshots of the book itself. But how many of you have read this book or heard about this book before? If you've never heard about this book before, every single Tuesday on TTT, we talk about this book. Every single Tuesday, we talk about 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. We talk about GoPro, and we talk about building an empire. Watch this, right? The longer you take to read this book, the longer you will take to have your 6 figures. Kai, I want, Kai, real quick, bro. Did we make our first 6 figures before we read this book?
Yeah, after.
What did you say? After. I thought you said absolutely not, right? I thought you said that. But that would be a nice response. We were struggling. I mean, we were making money, but we didn't get.
Yeah, the response was more like, nah.
Right. That's my man Gerald for you. But this is a clue. And the reason why I'm highlighting this, right? And not just listen to the audio, because there's a lot of stuff that's left from the audio that's not inside this book. The reason why you want to read this book, because this book has everything you need to know. Ask the leaders who are reading the book. Everything you need to know. I'm telling you this, and this is what I will say, and I will say this boldly. Those of you that are not reading this book or you've been hearing about this book over and over, and you haven't bought it as yet, you're not reading it, you're not as coachable as you think you are. I was in the shower and I was thinking about this, and I remember my wife was talking about it. When we first got involved with the business, David Emonitier spoke about the book Hung by the Tongue. How many of you guys remember that? My wife was like, man, David told us about that in the first year. I didn't even buy that book, bro. I didn't buy that book. And Leah said she read it. I don't even remember reading that book. David spoke about that in 2017. And I only read that book, can you believe it, at the beginning of 2021? Or the end of what do you call it? 2020 in December. What is that saying about me, even as a chairman, that I'm not as teachable and coachable as I think I am? And I realized that when I read that book, my whole perspective on my mouth changed. How many of you guys remember the Guard Your Mouth call that I did in January? The foundation of that call was from the teaching in that book. And that changed my life. Right now, I'm still guarding my mouth. So if you haven't read that book, Hung by the Tongue, then no, you're not teachable and coachable. But 2, you're slowing down your success. Get this book. Get this book. Get this book. And that's why I said earlier, as a leader, I got to know when to be a sign and when to be a signpost. Right now, I'm being a signpost, pointing towards this. Why? Because what it's going to do is going to cause you to grow independent of me. It's leadership talk now, right? Me promoting this book in my groups and encouraging them to read this book. Those that actually go ahead and read it, because I know there's some of you that are not going to read it, which is fine. But as a leader, it allows me to sort. And we're going to talk about that. It's going to allow me to sort my group, identify who's serious, and then I can speak a different language with them because they know what is really required to build an empire. Some of you want to become rich and build an empire, but you don't know what's required. And when you find out what's required, then some of you are not going to want the empire. You're not going to want to build the empire more so. This book is a powerful book. This changed me and Clay's life. I'm telling you, there's another one too, The Ultimate Guide to Network Marketing, but that's not as good as this. This is more practical. This is more in-depth. You want this book. You want, yeah, Clay said it. That one, I got that right here, The Ultimate Guide to, let me turn off the camera, Clay. Go, let me zoom suit, right? Say what y'all see. Right, this one right here. Yeah, this is my zoom suit. Nice at the top, a little rough at the bottom. But this is this book right here, The Ultimate Guide. Yeah, I know that. You like that one, right, guys? This book is very good too. But this is a little more, this is, I would tell you, and I'm gonna close up the call with this. This is a little more advanced. This is a little more advanced. You can get that too. But you see this? This is practical, knowing nothing, right up to a six-figure income. So if you plan to become a six-figure earner, boom, get this book. So with that being said, guys, if you got some value from tonight's call, if you enjoyed this three-way training, drop some sevens in the chat, guys. Really appreciate all of you for being on the call. And, I want to promote the next call that we have, whether it's Monday or Wednesday. Well, the next call is on Monday. You want to be on that call. It's on Monday. Yeah, sorry about that. It's on Monday. You want to be on that call because we're taking you on a journey with us. Okay, and myself, some of you know our story, some of you don't. We have made a lot of money in this thing right here in Barbados, in the Caribbean. And we're showing you what has worked for us. And we're pointing towards tools and resources that you can use as well. Because again, we want you to grow independent of us. I don't want you to have to come to me all the time. It will be recorded on Monday. Yes, it will be recorded. All the calls will be recorded. I don't want you to come to me all the time. I want you to say, you know what, Akeem, I read this book and, I'm now doing circle ups. Some of you don't know what a circle up is. Some of you don't know what the difference between sorting and, or more so, some of you don't know from a prospecting standpoint, contacting versus attracting, all that's in here. And it's not me and Kai's responsibility to teach that in detail. The book is here. And this is a test. I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag, right? I wasn't gonna say this, but I'm gonna say this, right? This is really me testing to see who's really serious about becoming rich, so that I know who to allocate my time with. And it's like David. When I think about it, if you're not speaking a certain language, David doesn't waste his time. Read the book. So with that being said, guys, have a great evening, everyone. Really, really excited about this call. And I feel like those of you that from the beginning, you can watch the recording. The recording will be posted in a few. So have a great evening, everyone. Peace.